Hi everyone, welcome on this video. Thank you so very much for being with me. So this is kind of a special video because I'm going to make a track by track of the upcoming album, and I'm going to let some extracts so you can listen to some small parts of each song. And I'm also going to talk about the inspiration and the meanings of each of the song and how it came to life, basically. So just to sum up some of the information of the album, it's called Leaves Are Falling. This is my very first solo album, and it will be out on the 30th of October, and I'm really looking forward to it, and I hope you are too, and I hope you will like it. So this is a premiere video, so there's a chat here somewhere, I guess. So you can comment while listening to each of the track, and you can tell me what you think about it. And I am also in the chat, so we can have a nice talk all together online. And yeah, just tell me what you think. So let's get started with the very first track.
We are at the edges of the day. The world will soon fall in slumber. Colors will disappear.
So this track is the opening of the album, and I'm not going to lie, this album is kind of a lot about nature and ecology. So I wanted this intro to talk about ecology and this duality of humankind. Like, we are amazed by how beautiful the nature can be, but we are doing so few to preserve it. And I wanted this track to feature a voice of kind of maybe some deity, some supernatural force. And I immediately thought of Michaelina's voice. I messaged her and I asked her if she wanted to be the voice of this character, and she said yes. And yeah, that's really a big honor to have the voice of Michalina Malish from Helvetii opening and closing the album. That's just amazing. And I just can't believe that once again I'm just a man making music in his flats. And yeah, that's truly a honor to have her on the album. Elliott is completely a medley of 4 different folk tunes and traditional tunes. So this is just an arrangement that I made. And why is it called Elliott? Actually, I was looking for a name for this track because there's no lyrics, and so there's no story I can try to hang up to. Actually, I just looked for the names of the stars of the constellation of the Big Bear, because there's a bear dance among this track. So I just looked in the names of the stars of the Big Bear constellation, and there is one star which is called Elliott, and I thought it was kind of a good name, so I just kept that. Stars is a very personal song because it's a song that came to me while I was thinking about the way I interact with people. It just came kind of naturally, and it was a very intimate process. This is a melody that came to me when I was thinking of how I interact with people. And this is why you can hear a bit of the melody of stars in other tracks of the album, because I wanted this melody to kind of being almost all around the whole album. It's kind of shaping it all.
As far as the eye can see, yet you flee from my hand.
Tiniri is a song about the Sahara Desert and how it's growing wider and wider because of the weather, and how the people living there can try to deal with that and deal with the threats of this growing desert. I asked one of my colleagues actually to speak that Arabic part. And there's also some orchestration at the end, and the orchestration were recorded by my best friends in Switzerland. This is a song that I like very, very much, all because of this kind of symphonic part at the end. So I chose the name Tiniri because this is the name of the Sahara Desert in some of the languages in this part of the world. A Devil Made Me Do It is a track really focused on the hurdy-gurdy. This is an instrumental track, completely focused on this instrument, and this is also something that came kind of naturally to me in kind of a dark period of my life. This is a song about the feeling of guilt, this feeling that you are guilty and you made so bad and so terrible things that it's just like it was done because some devil told you to do so. And that was a very dark moment in my life 1 year ago, and I wanted to do kind of a darker track about this feeling of being guilty and kind of being a monster, because I think we can all relate at a moment of our life. We all feel guilty for something and we all feel terrible. Saltatio Vita. Well, Saltatio Vita was revealed during the lockdown. This is a track that I made with my bandmates of Lupercal, so Ombeline, Obelia and Fergus, who also are in the French folk band Skoura. This is a song about 4 musicians that arrive in a town where there's the plague and a lot of people are suffering and dying. They just go in the middle of the village and they start playing music, and this is some kind of magical music because it fights the plague and everyone is feeling better, and then the musicians just don't ask for anything and they just leave. This is the song of these 4 musicians fighting plague with magical music. So that was really important to me to reveal this during the lockdown and the coronavirus, of course. This is one of the two songs on which my bandmates of Lupercal are featuring. Botensför, I don't know if I pronounce it very well, so Botensför is kind of more Nordic folk music, and this is a story of some Vikings growing on a ship and heading to somewhere else and never returning. The lyrics are in Swedish, and I am kind of singing in Swedish or trying to, so probably my accent is very, very bad. But this is lyrics that I wrote in French, and then a friend of mine translated them into Swedish. Natguten is the very first track that I recorded for this album. Actually, it was back in, I think, 2018. This is the ambient track of the album. There's no lyrics, it's all about ambient and kind of obscure feeling. And when I was recording that, I had in my mind the image of someone in a long black cape trying to summon some kind of god or devil in the middle of the forest. And I was thinking about it, and melody came fluently and naturally, and I decided to call it Natguten, which means the cult of the night in Norwegian and Swedish. Au fond des brumes is one of the few tracks in French language. This is a track about a man living on a ship, and he's looking for some treasures and for some gold on the seven seas, and he's leaving someone, and he's feeling guilty and very sad of leaving that person on land, actually. And it's all about the fact that he regrets living on this ship, and he realizes that he should have stayed on the land, and that family and love is more important than gold. So that was kind of a shanty-like song. I asked Lorenz of Pyrolysis if he wanted to record some accordion for this song, and he wrote and recorded some amazing take of the accordion, and the melody is incredible, and this accordion solo is magical, and I'm really honored to have Lorenz on this album. And yeah, this song is among my favorites just because of that amazing accordion part. Sailors at Sea is in the continuity of Au fond des brumes, so this is also a track about mariners and sailors. And so yeah, it was kind of obvious that Au fond des brumes and 10 Sailors at Sea had to be one after the other, because it's the two songs about the sea and stuff. This is a traditional tune, actually. This is an endro and the combined antodro. So this is traditional tune, and I just wrote the flute solo, and I asked a friend of mine to record that flute, and yeah, we rearranged this song together, and I like this one too, because this is probably one of the very first complete tune that I played on the hurdy-gurdy back in the years. Nuto is a song about a Celtic goddess, so I used this way to talk more about nature and how we need to preserve it. Nuto is a Celtic Gaulish goddess, or presumed goddess. The only thing that we found on archaeological findings about this goddess, written and stuff, is in the region where I was born, in the French Ardennes. This is a region with a very strong connection to history and to the Celts and the Gauls and stuff. And so this is the only place where the name Nuto was found. I mean, on archaeological findings. I wanted to kind of put a bit of the folklore of my native region in this album.
You were born in no
Lava Veins is probably one of the first track that I revealed for this album. It was long ago, and that was a song that I wrote when I was in my former performance group. We were in a group where people were joining with fire and stuff, and I was playing music alongside them. I wrote this song, which is kind of about the cult of fire and playing with fire. So this is a song that is kind of very folky, with Gertie recorder and bouzouki and stuff. The very first version you can hear on this YouTube channel was with the guitar, and then for this album I decided to re-record it with the Irish bouzouki. Leshen was completely made and recorded for this year's Music Day. I made a video for this year's Music Day, a big video with a lot of new tracks that I recorded especially for this moment. And Leshen was among them. I liked that so much that I decided to keep it on the album. I made a poll on my Patreon, and if you're not on my Patreon, you can find the link in the description. And so I made a poll on my Patreon, and I asked my patrons if they thought that Leshen should be on the album, and they all said yes. So I kept this on the album. I'm a big fan of The Witcher, and Leshen is one of the monsters that you can fight in this video game. The Leshen is a lot inspired by the Leshi, which is a monster in the Polish folklore. Meet Me in the Woods is kind of really folky track that I recorded kind of a long time ago. I think it was in late 2018. So I recorded that song and I was playing it, and I needed a name. But as there are no lyrics, I didn't know how to call it. And one day during my lunch break at work, I went to the forest nearby and I started playing hurdy-gurdy after eating my sandwich. And there was a woman who was walking her dog, and she sat a little bit further in the forest, and she just listened to me for one hour. And at the end I just noticed that she was there, and she told me that the instrument was very beautiful and that she enjoyed a lot listening to my playing. And this is how the name later came. I thought about this meeting in the forest, and I decided to name this track Meet Me in the Forest.
Night is upon us. Soon nothing will move, as if the time never existed. It will be a moment of despair, of broken hopes, of death and illusions.
Sparkles of Rust is the last track of the album. This is the closing track. This is, as of Gold and Copper, this is about ecology, and this is why you can hear the voice of Michalina again, like in the opening intro of the album. This is kind of a more pessimistic track, because of Gold and Copper tells about the beauty of nature, and gold and copper are very positive comparison to the color of the forest. It's like some precious metals for jewelry and stuff. But Sparkles of Rust keeps this idea of the color of the orange and brown and golden color, but rust gives the impression that something kind of deteriorated. And this is what I wanted for this track. Like, it may be too late to try to save nature, but I also wanted to keep some of an optimistic message, and this is why the very last words of the album is "The sun will still rise tomorrow." So I used the melody of this traditional tune, Jezaik. I wanted to have this one because I like it very much, And because Jezaik is a Breton version of the first name of my mom, so I wanted to have it. And this is also the first name of my girly teacher. So yeah, this is kind of a small loving thought for them. Thank you so very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed this extract and that it makes you maybe looking forward to this album. I really hope so. This album was completely made all by myself. I made a lot, and I'm so happy to have great friends who helped me, Michalina, Lorenz, my bandmates of Lupercal, people who gave me some advice on mixing. And so yeah, kind of rearranged or composed and wrote almost everything by myself. And yeah, it was a lot of work for 2 years actually. And I recorded almost everything in my flat and I mixed everything. And yeah, I hope you will enjoy. And now I think I'm just going to rest a bit and not think about recording an album again, because I really need to just do music without recording or without thinking of making a tune out of it, or just playing music because I just want to grab an instrument and play something. I will stick to that for a couple of weeks and then I will go back with new ideas. There are some other new things coming, some new series on this YouTube channel, and I hope you will like this one. Thank you again so very much, and I will keep you updated with everything that's going to happen. See you now!
To make them immortal, only to hide the inevitable truth. Leaves are falling.